everyone. Welcome to Golf Live. I'm Jessica Marksbury, and we have a really fun show lined up for you today, including 2 celebrities who love the game and a brand new workout video from social media sensation Paige Spiranac. But first, let's talk about what's going on this week, the PGA Championship. It's hard to believe the final major of the season is already here, but based on the number of quality storylines we have to talk about heading into the week, it may turn out to be the most exciting major of the year. Ryan Aselta is with me in studio, and Ryan, so much to talk about, including right off the top, big news about the movement of the PGA Championship date starting in 2019. We're expecting a PGA of America press conference in just under an hour here.
Yeah.
It's going to be in May, no longer in August.
Yeah, away from the traditional August date that we've seen for so many years, other than last year when it moved because of the Olympics, Jess. But this is a big move for the PGA. We've heard about this for a while now, and this is a money move, if you ask me. This is the PGA of America playing nice with the PGA Tour, which has said they want their season, they want their playoffs to end at the end of August before football season starts so that the FedEx Cup playoffs don't compete with the NFL, which is king when it comes to sports television. So the PGA, it sounds like they're going to move. The AP's reporting this, and I think Pete Pavak was probably going to confirm this later on today, that it's going to move to a May date. So that would give us a move of the Players' Championship as well back to March, where it used to be. So you'd go Players' Championship March, Masters April, PGA May, U.S. Open June, British Open July. 5 straight months with major events, even though the Players isn't officially a major, Jess. But I'm not sure how I feel about this, especially when you move the PGA Championship to May. You're going to eliminate a lot of different sites to hold the PGA Championship. The Northeast, hey, we lived here for the last few Mays, but it hasn't been very nice in May. It used to be many years ago. May has turned into a portion of March around here. Cold, wet. Sites like Bethpage in 2 years. Trump Bedminster scheduled to hold a PGA Championship. How about Oak Hill in upstate New York in the middle of May? That is going to be chilly, Jess. Not your traditional 90-degree summer day, which we've gotten used to for the PGA Championship.
That is a great point. However, you can't help but think this will kind of up the cachet of the PGA Championship a little bit. It's always, being the 4th major of the year, tends to be, kind of maybe a little bit forgotten. People tend to say, oh, we get so excited about the first 3. PGA is just kind of left there as the last major of the year. Not going to be the case anymore.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think the PGA, like I said, they're playing nice here because when it comes to the TV sports landscape in August, there's not much going on. So the PGA Championship is actually a showcase event for the end of the summer when not many people are watching sports on TV. They're on vacation, at the beach, whatever. So moving it to May, when it's going to be a lot busier, a lot more going on. You're going to have the NBA season coming to an end, the NHL, baseball going on there as well. We'll see. I'm not sold yet. I'm not sold. Yeah.
All right. I like your skepticism here, Ryan. This is very interesting. Well, of course, we have to talk about the other huge storyline of the week. Jordan Spieth attempting to complete the career Grand Slam to become the youngest player ever to do so. This really puts him in rarefied air, Ryan. If he's able to do this, it's better than Jack.
Yeah.
It's better than Tiger. All of a sudden, Jordan goes from kind of having a so-so run of it, everyone wondering when he's going to win his next major championship, to being the guy again.
Remember the conversations, what's wrong with Jordan Spieth? We're not having those anymore,
That's right?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan is skyrocketed now after the British Open and coming within 1 major of the career Grand Slam. I do think he'll get it. I don't think it's going to happen this week. He will win a PGA Championship at some point over his career, and I don't think it's going to take him very long. He's only 24 years old. I just don't think it sets up very well this week for him at Quail Hollow. I don't think it's a golf course that fits his game. I think the course is a driver's golf course, both length and accuracy. Jordan's neither great at either one of those. The accuracy is traditionally a problem with him. He's outside the top 100 in driving accuracy on the PGA Tour. The rough will be a little penal away from the fairway, and it's wet down there, which is going to be a big problem with length. It's going to be a bomber's track because it's raining down there today. It's supposed to rain the rest of the week up until Saturday. So will he someday get that career Grand Slam? I think so. I just don't think it's this week at Quail Hollow.
Plus, it's so hard to gear up for yet another major. Just a couple weeks removed from his last win. He's been on such a hot streak. Mentally, though, it's a super grind. So much attention is going to be on him this week. We know he's getting used to that.
Yeah.
Another player that I think all eyes are going to be on, Rory McIlroy, Ryan, has had so much success at Quail Hollow. Can you imagine just how irritating it might be for him if Jordan gets to the career Grand Slam before he does it after so many attempts at the Masters over the last few years?
I know. He's had, what, 4 chances at the Masters to try to complete this. Yeah, Rory, the odds-on favorite going in for many reasons. I think the course sets up perfectly for him. He's won twice at Quail Hollow at the Wells Fargo Championship. He has the course record, shot 61. He's the all-time earnings winner at Quail Hollow, and he's starting to play good golf again. You know, top 5's his last 2 starts. He's starting that trend. We saw this last year, Jess. What's wrong with Rory? What's wrong with Rory? Well, Rory told us nothing, and he ran through the FedEx Cup playoffs, won the Tour Championship, and he had a great end of the season.
He's a late bloomer.
He is a late bloomer. This is his time of year. He's won the PGA before. He's won it twice at Valhalla and Kiowa. So I think it sets up well, and I think that the conditions that I said that go against Jordan Spieth's game, they help Rory. If you can fly it long off the tee like Rory McIlroy does, you have an advantage this week on a wet golf course. I think it's Rory's to lose this week.
Well, and we know the course can yield some very low scores, at least in the Wells Fargo Championship over the last few years. Rory, of course, has the scoring record from 2015 at 21 under par.
Amazing, yeah.
But they're going to be seeing a different track this year, Ryan, considering the extensive renovations that have been done over the last year. They didn't play the Wells Fargo there this year. They're trying to toughen the place up. Do you think we're going to see anything extremely different, or are those guys, I mean, they just seem to light it up no matter what?
Yeah, and this has always been a favorite tour stop for these guys. There are changes to 3 of the holes have really been completely redone. They changed the bunkering on another hole, and they changed all the greens to Bermuda. Now, most of these guys like putting on Bermuda. Quail Hollow used to be ryegrass through and through. They've completely changed it. The guys talking this morning are saying these may be the purest Bermuda greens that they've ever seen. Now, we'll see what the rain does to that. Does it soften it, or do they get some dry weather over the weekend and they can get some challenging pin locations and really test these greens? I don't think it's going to be that much different. I think the guys that have traditionally done well here will do well again. And it should be interesting, Jess, to see if we get another guy to break through with their first major at the PGA. You know, we had that streak of 7 first-time major winners in a row up until Jordan at the British Open. So the guys that are peaking right now, some of them have never won a major. You look at Hideki Matsuyama, you look at Matt Kuchar, you look at Ricky Fowler. I mean, what do you think? Is this the year at the PGA we see another first-time winner? We saw it with Jason Day. We saw it with Jimmy Walker the last 2 years.
It seems to be the major championship where that's the most likely thing to happen, right, out of the 4 at the PGA. Certainly, Ricky Fowler is due. I think at this point he's had so many close calls, especially at the PGA over the last several years. He would certainly be at the top of my list. Hideki Matsuyama, we've been expecting to contend in the majors for the last several years. He is hot coming into this week. Now, you know, you never know, given their performance in the week before, how that's exactly going to play out in the following week. But certainly, I think in the last 5 majors, he's done no worse than a tee for 15th.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive. But I can't talk about the PGA Championship and all the favorites without referencing at least one guy that's on everyone's minds, other than Rory, other than Jordan. Dustin Johnson.
Amazing. We made it this far. We're talking about Spieth, Rory, all these guys who we may think might break through. We didn't even mention the world number 1 yet.
Yeah. My question for you, Ryan, is does he need a win at this PGA Championship to kind of salvage the season? It seems like it would be a huge disappointment for him to not contend and win a major championship given how hot he was coming into the Masters. We all know about the disappointment and the withdrawal that came at the Masters and just not seeing it happen for him in the majors following. This is kind of a now or never week to salvage the season.
It's been a weird year for him, hasn't it? I mean, he was so hot with the 3 in a row. He was the odds-on favorite to the going into Augusta, and he has that injury when he slipped and fell, and then he misses the cut at the U.S. Open, and then he has a T54 at the British. So when it comes to majors, it's been a rough stretch, actually, since his U.S. Open win at Oakmont. You're looking at the numbers. His best finish was T9. He's missed 2 cuts. He's withdrawn once, and he had that T54 at the British Open. So do you look at this year as a disappointment? It's tough to say it's a disappointment for a guy who's won 3 in a row and has held his position as number 1 in the world. But when you ask Dustin Johnson, he may say it has been, because when it comes down to it, it's all about major championships, and he hasn't really sniffed one since the 2016 U.S. Open.
Yeah, when you're an elite player, you appreciate each win. Obviously, every PGA Tour win is special. But for Dustin Johnson, it's all about major championships at this point. Just like Rory, just like Jordan, just like Jason Day.
Yeah.
That's what they all want. And certainly, it would seem like this course could line up well for him. If he starts, bombing it down the fairway like we know he can,
right,
maybe he and Rory can have a nice toe-to-toe match.
It could be that long and straight may win this thing, Jess. Yeah, and as with the PGA Championship comes golfers' last chance at major glory in 2017. We talked earlier, of course, about a golfer possibly breaking through this week at Quail Hollow for his first. Well, Tour veteran Paul Casey, that quest for a major title is now 16 years and counting. I recently sat down with the now 40-year-old Casey, who says the adversities overcome off the course has made him hungrier than ever for that elusive major championship. All right, Paul, let's talk about the season to start. 3 top 10s. You had the 6th place at the Masters. Pretty happy with where your game's at right now?
Yeah, it's building. Yeah, recently it's been really good. Augusta I've got good form around there. And, it's been interesting because the beginning half of the season, it wasn't that good. And to be honest, I'm putting that down. A little bit of rust, equipment changes, Nike getting out of the equipment business. Right. That kind of threw everybody for a loop. Now got it figured out. I think I got the bag figured out in terms of what I'm using. But it's amazing that I thought I'd just get flying right out of the gate. 2017 would be sort of the way I finished off 2016.
Right.
Wasn't the way, but feeling good right now.
As far as your career, 18 wins worldwide, but just the one on the PGA Tour, 7 second-place finishes. Curious to see how you view the PGA Tour career for you. Do you look at that as missed opportunities, or are you happy you've put yourself in position time after time?
A little bit of both. So I think some missed opportunities maybe the last couple of years. Played some great golf back end of last year. Ran into Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy for two runner-up finishes there. Year before that, lost in a playoff to Bubba and various things like that. So maybe a couple of missed opportunities recently. But if you look at when I started my career out here, I was playing both tours, playing European Tour, PGA Tour, playing really the minimum number of events over here. And the events I played over here were the majors, the players, the WGC events, and then Bay Hill Memorial. And guess what? Those are all the events Tiger played in. So you actually look at it and you go, I'm playing, a few events over here every year, and I got no chance of really winning it. And it was great to play in that era when Tiger was playing his best. But frustrating because you look at the record, and as many guys have, and maybe guys like Phil and Ernie and a lot of our guys go, actually, we'd have a lot more majors as well if Tiger hadn't done what he did. And I still think I got plenty of years ahead. You look at Henrik, just won his first major at age 40. I'm not there yet, so.
Getting close, man. Getting close. The clock is ticking on that.
I know.
Lost your card back in 2012. I think you dropped to 169.
Yep.
Currently 14th in the world. How much pride do you take in that comeback? Being able to bounce back with everything you had going on to bring your game all the way back where you're now top 15 in the world?
To a point, it actually is more satisfying than winning a tournament. And I'm not trying to use it as an excuse for not having more PGA Tour victories. But this is a game that who knows what it's going to deal you day in, day out. And that time in my career, in my life, it was difficult. I had injuries. I dislocated my right shoulder very badly, snowboarding. I went through a divorce. I lost my confidence on the golf course. I struggled, I really did. And I've grown a lot as a person. I'm now married again, I'm a father. I have a totally different outlook on everything I do, golf and life away from the golf course. I got a good grasp of things now that I didn't used to have.
Ryder Cup, obviously made a conscious decision to be PGA Tour of America member full time for family reasons. How frustrating was it watching last September?
It's so frustrating. I just got asked about it, and I get asked about it all the time, which doesn't bother me. It's so frustrating. It's a touch on it. I mean, the reason I focused on the PGA Tour a while ago is because I was struggling to keep card on both tours and outside the top 50. And for me to make the decision to focus on the PGA Tour, it was very, very difficult. And knowing that this has got to be my focus, because it's so difficult to be competitive out here, not trying to stretch myself around the world, be as good a father as I possibly can be. And I didn't think about it when I'm outside the top 50, that this is where we'd be sitting and always talking about the Ryder Cup. And to watch last year, so hard. I felt for all the players. I felt for Darren Clark. I had good conversations with him. He looked like he was doing everything he could do to be a great captain. You don't know. I mean, everybody says, well, if they had Russell Knox and Paul Casey on the team, it'd be different. Nobody has no clue. Might have lost by more. I mean, all I know is I look at it constantly. I can't tell you that. Always evaluating what I should be doing. And it's a difficult one. It really is. All I know is I want to play another Ryder Cup. And whether that's, you know, in another year or another 3 years or 5 years, I hope I got a lot of years left. We'll see what happens with the qualification criteria. We'll see what happens in my life.
Should it be enough just to be a European, to be at least get that eligibility?
It's not for me to answer that question.
Okay.
I need to win. I need to win more. We need to get that. We need to get that single win up more. Yeah, let's figure that one out.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks
you
so much for the time.
Give me 45 seconds. I'll have you hitting a draw in 4 to 5 shots with my 45-degree draw drill. So you're going to take 2 dowels, and from your target line, you're going to place one at 45-degree angle back there. You're going to place one at 45 degrees of an angle in front. So when you set up to hit a draw, you have to have the club swinging from the inside. So take your target hand, put it at a 45-degree angle. Take your stance, set up at a 45-degree angle. Next, you're going to set your club at a 45-degree angle, but finally, make sure that club face is finishing at a 45-degree angle. So let's see how we do. You do that 45-degree angle drill, and you'll be hitting draws in 4 to 5 shots.
Hi, I'm UFC fighter Cub Swanson, and I'm here today to show you guys some proper golf course etiquette. Rule number 1, make sure you greet your partner with a warm and friendly handshake. How's it going?
Hey, man. Oh, you ready for this? Yeah.
Nice day.
Yeah, it's great.
Rule number 2, be open to gambling, if your partner wants to, of course. So what are we playing for? What do you think, 500?
Dollars?
Push-ups.
Do I have a choice?
No. Rule number 3, always help your partner with club selection, if needed. So what do you think?
130 yards, definitely pitching wedge.
It's an 8.
Okay.
Rule number 4, always celebrate your partner's successes with enthusiasm.
Oh! Whoa! Yeah! Oh yeah! Give me that. Oh, all right.
Rule number 5, always protect your partner from the dangerous wildlife on the golf course.
No! Stop!
Hey, relax. It was a B. What? You're welcome.
I can't help but smile and laugh when I look at that segment. It was so much fun filming that with Cub Swanson, UFC fighter. And speaking of celebrities who love golf, actor and comedian Ray Romano is also an avid player. Now, while he spent much of his career performing in front of large crowds, you might be surprised to learn he actually gets nervous when playing in front of one. We caught up with Ray at the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe to pick his brain about the game we all love. Check it out.
I've played tons of golf, studied with the Hank Haneys of the world, and I still pretty much stink. My handicap fluctuates from 13 to 14. 13 to 14 is pretty solid for a guy like me, and and you still love it. You still love the game. That's the good thing about golf. You never master it, you never feel satisfied, but you still have these moments of joy. There's sadness involved, but there's great happiness too. I had to go 13 years before I made the cut at Pebble. I got to play with Sung Kang. I said I had to Google you. I had to Google to find out who you were. And he told me, he goes, I had to Google you. If he birdied 18, he would have shot 59. I got to witness that round. He shot a 60.
That's
so,
great.
I mean, that was awesome. I have a lot of neuroses, and I do a lot of mind betting. Like, oh, on a golf course, I'll say if I don't break 90 today, I can't watch TV for the next 3 days. And Hank Haney said, he told me in his speeches, when he talks, he uses me as an example of what not to do on the golf course. Be in your head, be about score, be about things. Just the shot, just think of the shot. So that's probably the tip I should listen to. You know, you would think you wouldn't be nervous. You've been up on stage in front of these many. That doesn't apply because it's not your thing. It's not what you're good at. So I'm still nervous in front of crowds and stuff. When I walk off the golf course, I think, well, at least I know I'm good at something. I can do stand-up comedy. I know I've gotten far in that. I've gotten pretty good at that. Golf can humble you, you know, and that's the good thing about it.
Hey everyone, I'm Paige Spiranac. I am with my trainer today, Steven Tinoco. We are going to show you 3 exercises you can do with one band without actually moving at all.
You can do it simply in a hotel room, your house, in front of the TV, or in just a small area.
Or a box about this big.
Exactly.
Okay, first exercise.
Simple bicep curl. You know, there doesn't really need it in golf, but everyone likes their arms to look good, especially during the summer. So, simple band bicep curl.
Curls for the girls.
You could do 4 sets of 10.
Okay.
So it depends on how your muscles are feeling and everything that day. So next thing we're gonna do is just to do a shoulder press with the band also. You can be in the same exact position. I like doing the shoulders because you incorporate your shoulders, especially in the golf swing. Like can be very, very tight, but at the same time having the flexibility with them also.
How many?
We're gonna do 12 shoulder presses with the band. So next thing we're gonna go into especially a side walk or a side lunge, whatever you wanna call it with the band. This really works the outer hip muscles and helps burn the thighs also. Because in a golf swing, you're very explosive with the hips, Paige is especially. So she really likes this to really strengthen the hips and everything.
Oh, it burns so good. Jeez.
We're gonna do 20 total, 10 each side.
Okay. I feel good.
Fantastic.
That was tough, and honestly, what I had to do, I just had to move my hands from here to here, and I got a great full body workout.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode of Golf Live. We'll be back with a brand new episode next week, but until then, be sure to visit Golf.com for all the latest golf news and exclusive video content, especially surrounding the PGA Championship, because there's bound to be many exciting storylines to follow. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the week.